what my hair is today.
Hello and welcome back to another vlog. I am Georgie, the artist and creator behind Georgie Satin Art, a cat and dinosaur themed online shop. So this week is a convention vlog. I am heading to Newbury Comicon, which is Comicon Connections. Before we dive straight into the convention, I have got some things I need to do beforehand, like restocking and stuff, and I literally just got home from getting my hair redone. So it's nice and straight at the moment. So I need to clean my mats because they're not sticky anymore. I've got 4 mats here. This one is actually one of my only Cricut ones left, but I've had this for 5 years now and it's still very strong. It's got hair literally stuck to it. You can see there's like a lot of cut marks on it, but actually it's still fairly sticky. It's just that it's not sticky enough. So we're just going to clean that one up. These ones have actually lasted better than these, and these ones are light grip and these are standard. They're the same brand. I have no idea how you're supposed to say that. But yeah, so I am going to clean these. So first I like to use Fairy just because it is a degreaser, so it's going to get rid of all of that dirt and gunk that's on that. And then I get an old Scrub Daddy. So I'm just going to make sure there's a nice amount of water on there. And I use the scrubby side. And I just sort of scrub in circular motions. Once I think that is clean, I'll just rinse this under the tap and then let it dry. And then we move on to the next one. You can also see on these mats, obviously I've cut a lot of sticky sheets on here, but these ones tend to leave more lines, so you can actually see I've also cut sticker sheets on this one as well. But the line difference is quite significant. I do find, although the Cricut mats are more expensive, they last a hell of a lot longer. I've had to replace these several times, and the Cricut one I've still got. Shot, and I'll do something else. I'll do something simpler. No. He's currently in my suitcase. Whatever.
under that?
No, he's on top trying to climb down.
Okay, cool.
Hello, it is day 0 of Comicon Connections, aka Newbury Comic-Con. I had planned on filming a decent amount of me getting ready for this convention. However, I ended up just being really behind on everything. So I have not... There we go. So basically I've just been really behind on everything. To begin with, Monday, so I actually started filming this vlog on Tuesday, but Monday I was having a whole thing with my Cricut. It wasn't actually the cutting machine that was the issue, it was design space, but I managed to work through that, so that's now working again. You can lick it. He purrs all the time. He doesn't have an off switch. That was a setback from day one. And then I've also been getting stock ready for one of the shops that I stock in. I just wanted to send some like more Halloween-y bits to them, which is now ready, but obviously that took time as well. I also was going to launch my Firecat t-shirts. I wanted to make this like a really big thing. All my other t-shirts I've just sort of quietly launched kind of thing. However, this is also going to be a soft launch, so I've had them on pre-order on my website, which they still are. However, for one thing, the blanks that arrived, I received 4 2XL sizes and no XLs, so I haven't got any XLs to start with. And then the transfers themselves, over half of them have like gone weird. I've never had it happen before. I'm basically going to soft launch them because I've only got sizes small and large that are perfect. The medium 2XL and 3XL are all B grades, so I've made a sign for them and they're going to be marked down. Instead of £22, they're £12, so they've got £10 off, so they're nearly half price because I don't want them sitting around, I just want them gone. From a distance, you can't see anything wrong with it. It's only when you're closely looking at it. That was not ideal because I'm already late because I wanted to launch them at the end of August and obviously I didn't. My calendar is done. I'm going to be going through, I think, this morning and just sorting out the files so that I can order them. But other than that, I haven't had time to do the magnetic planners. I need to paint my nails because I've got 2 nails where they've come off fully, so they're going to need to be done this morning just because this nail is already trying to chip and my nails are like paper. As soon as I go setting up without nail polish on, they will chip. I don't really want that to happen, so I'm going to paint them this morning and then I need to finish packing. I had to wash my display mouse mat, like the little cat one, so that's currently hanging up on my radiator. The last 2 markers are just so dusty, it was disgusting. I can also hear Blue's stuck outside the room because my partner's still asleep at the moment, so I shut the door. So I'm gonna go. We will see what I can get done.
I'm currently en route to pick up Oku because I am driving both of us, but I need to stop and post some letters and I really don't want to get out of the car. So that's fun. Hello, so I didn't actually film any more of my setting up because I completely changed it. So we've gone for an outward L and yeah, this is what we're looking like. I've got my charms, they need to be sorted out in the morning, cards, stationery, all my totes are all on the corner here, including the clearance ones, and then I've got my desk mats, mouse mat, and then all the rest of my apparel. I am all set up. So I have obviously got a slight issue with the banner, but I pushed it so that it's forward so that when you're stood at the front of the table, you can at least read it. I'm going to pin that up so that it's not hanging down. But yeah, so I've sorted all the charms out, and then you can also see I've hung up all my tote bags and paper bags. I also put the spend sticker up there rather than here because I thought it'd be in the way. But yeah, so that's all set up now. I've also obviously done something different here where I've got the desk mats on the table, which I think look quite good
I'm not happy with the tote bags, but there's not really anything else I can do with them. So, and the magnetic planners ideally would not be overlapped that much, but that's what I've got to work with. So hello, so it's 11:30 and I haven't actually been able to do a check-in because for the first like half an hour it was pretty dead in here, and we were not thinking it was going to pick up because there's like no signage to say where we are. However, I've literally just had a very busy period. I've sold a t-shirt, a bum bag, a magnetic planner, like higher ticket items, so I've already made like a decent amount of money, which I'm so happy with, because I was concerned that I wouldn't have any sales for quite a while, being that we've got no signage. So really good. We've also given out our first prize for our stamp rally as well. We're actually in a completely different building to everything else, so it's not just that there's no signs, there's also a track to get here. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the day goes, because although I've made a decent amount of money so far, it's not enough for a whole weekend. So fingers crossed it keeps up and keeps steady.
Yeah, you'd never guess what my favourite things are, right? Nothing gives it away. Nice. I have 2 ragdolls, so hence the fur all over me. I know that feeling. Yeah. The Spino is my favourite. Spino and Stego. Also, you can take it if you want to still have a look around, kind of thing.
it's about 1:45. I've nearly doubled my tablecloth, so I'm so happy about that. I've sold a lot of higher ticket items, and I've also so far given out 9 of our stamp rally prizes. So we've got 25 in total, so that's really good. And I think a lot of people that we're giving the leaflets out to have actually completed it. We don't have any like minimum spend, and there's only 3 of us, so it's not that much that people would have to in theory spend at our table. But I've had some people come and buy stuff that they, maybe wouldn't have if they weren't part of the stamp rally, so I think that's worked. The people behind me have come and told me that they've had some sticky fingers at their table, so that's not good. And obviously a lot of my stuff is self-serve, so it's quite difficult for me to keep an eye on all of it, but can only do what I can do. Most of the higher ticket items are secured down, and it'd be very obvious if someone was taking it. So, fingers crossed, it won't be too bad. I've so far only had like 1 or 2 thefts in the time that I've been trading, and they've been like fairly low ticket items. So one was a sticker pack and one was a pen. The pen was completely by accident. So yeah, hopefully they don't come to me, but who knows? They could have already. But yeah, it's gone a little bit quiet at the moment, but most of the day I've had at least like 2 or 3 people at my stand at all times, and I've had a queue at one point, so that's always a bit nerve-wracking when that happens. But yeah, I've had a mouse mat sale. I've even saw one of my Ask Me About My Cat sweatshirts, which is good because that's getting the stock down. Pin badges and keyrings have been my best sellers, so weirdly I've only sold 2 sun catchers today. I don't know whether it's the positioning because they're around the corner, but yeah, no, they haven't sold very well. It could also be because of the change of season, because obviously we're now in autumn, but I have put a fair few out, so we'll see if they sell.
Have we made any decisions?
Not really.
You sound like me, weirdly enough.
Take their decision.
So one thing that I like to do is if I've managed to narrow it down to say 3 or 4 things, I assign each thing a number, and then I get someone else to pick around a number for me. If I'm not happy with that outcome, then I know it's not what I want.
Oh yeah. And then he
Mine really like paper carrier bags, is what they like the crunchiness of them.
Day 2, I'm all set up, and I thought, okay, it's today. Table set up. It's exactly the same as yesterday, except from I've sold some stuff. So I've sold 4 of my clearance tote bags, so I've spread these all out a bit more. But yeah, everything's pretty much the same. Just need to tidy up a few bits. But we're all ready. And I also remembered more brown bags because I ran out. And I found another black cat tote bag, so that was good. It's about 10:30, so officially we've been open for half an hour. However, technically the public are allowed in from 9, so we got in just after 9. I made a sale to a fellow trader who I've finally been able to actually do a convention with them. We've known each other for a fair while, but this is the first convention we've actually been to at the same time. But then I made one more sale so far this morning, which was quite a sizable sale. So obviously very happy with that, very grateful for anyone who comes by my stand to buy anything. I'm hoping today will be just as good as yesterday, or slightly shy of that. I'd be happy with it. They have had another cancellation today. They've had quite a few cancellations, and I'm not sure why that is, but Sebastian Roche has been cancelled today, so I'm not sure what he's up to. He was here yesterday, but he's not here today, so it's a bit disappointing for anybody who had booked meet and greets with him. But yeah, we'll see how today goes. I'm quite optimistic about it. I also thought I'd go full cat, with the ears. I want to get a new headband because this one isn't the most comfortable to wear, but I just want to wear something cute. It's a little bit quiet in here. It did suddenly start getting a little bit busier, but people are just generally browsing. I remember yesterday it didn't pick up until about this point, maybe 11, and normally Sundays is about half an hour behind Saturday. It's currently 10 to 1. It is quite quiet, I'm going to be honest. So up until 12, I was only about £15 behind yesterday. Between 12 and 2, I made about £300 yesterday. And with how quiet it is, there's no way I'm going to be making that much money. So at the moment now, I'm very, very behind yesterday. Everybody is saying it's quiet for them. It seems like today's attendees are a lot more stricter with their budgets, which is fine. I've still financially had a good weekend, but it's just very, very quiet in terms of I'm bored. Hiya. You can feel free to pick anything up. Oh my god, I've just seen your bag. There have also been quite a few, I'm presuming, celebrities walking around because there have been groups of people, or 2 people at a time, who also have a bodyguard. So I'm going to presume they're famous. I don't recognise them. I don't know who they are. Did see Robert Sheehan yesterday though. He came round in the evening. I actually didn't mention it at all yesterday. He came round just before closing. He bought from a few traders. Didn't buy anything from me, but he did smile and nod, so he acknowledged my existence. Quite frankly, I'm happy with that. It's currently 4 o'clock, and it is dead in here. It's been literally dead for, I want to say, 2 hours at least. I'm about a third of my sales from yesterday, which some days is normally lower, but it's normally about 50%. To sort of 70%. This time is literally about a third. So it's not great. I think overall I've made a decent amount of money. I know for a fact at this point I made more at Newbury Con, and that table was cheaper. So in terms of profit, I know I'll be making less. But it will just be interesting to see how much it actually is, depending on the product that people bought. Yesterday I sold a lot of apparel, I think it was 4 or 5 t-shirts, a jumper, a desk mat, and a mouse pad, and then I think it was about 6 tote bags, which I never normally sell. Today I think I've sold one or 2 tote bags, no apparel at all, no desk mats. I also sold 3 bum bags yesterday as well. I think it was 1 sold today. So it's been a lot of smaller sales. We have done stamp rally. I think we have 5 prizes left. I can't imagine that many of them are going to be claimed now. We did stop handing out leaflets yesterday because we handed out over half of the prizes. So we were like, let's leave off the leaflets so we've got enough prizes for tomorrow. So I'm not sure if they're going to go yet. I've definitely made sales that I wouldn't have otherwise if I wasn't part of the STEM rally, and the other two have also done the same thing. I have done a little bit of drawing, but I'm just really not in the mood to do drawing. I'm tired. I took the pack down. A few people have been saying they're not going to be coming next year. A few people have said they're going to give it a go. I probably would give it another go because it's so local, but they definitely need to change some things because there's no signage. Hello, so I am just coming on to do a recap and review of Newbury Comic Con. Overall, I had a decently good time, but I do have some concerns and things that I hope that the organisers look at going forward, because I know for a fact that they've already booked the same venue for next year. Just to give some history on the convention, previously they held this convention in Basingstoke. So for 2 years they ran it in Basingstoke, and then they've moved it to Newbury Racecourse for this year, and they've also booked it for next year as well. So my first concern is separation and signage. So all of the traders were in a separate room to where the signings and the talks were happening. This is never ideal. Anytime that things are separated into different rooms, the show is never going to run as smoothly or as to the full potential as it could do. If the organisers intend on keeping the traders separate for next year, then I think it could work because we had decent footfall. However, they really need to work on signage and maps for it, because we didn't have a single sign pointing attendees to where we were. The only sign that actually went up was one that was written by a trader, and they put that up on Saturday afternoon after we all realised that there was no signage going up. There was also no volunteers or helpers or anything pointing attendees towards us either. So I heard from other traders that people had gone up to them and said that they were surprised to see them because they didn't know that us traders were in that room. So that's never something you want to hear from an attendee. Also, another thing that I didn't actually mention during the vlog at all is that there was actually another marquee with more traders in. Now, they were situated near the entrance of the racecourse. The walk from where us traders were in the building to the marquee traders was actually quite a trek, because they were in a marquee and it was September. That was a complete flop. Being that it's September and it's the first month of autumn, you've got to take into account that the weather is going to play a massive part of whether a marquee is going to work or not. The Saturday was dry, however obviously overnight it got damp, and Sunday it completely chucked it down. I did go and speak to one of the traders that was in there, and you could see that there was drips of water on their stock, and they also said that the tent itself was not actually waterproof, even though they were told that it was, but you could see that it wasn't, so that isn't really acceptable. There was no flooring down in the marquee either, so obviously where people were walking through it and where it was wet, it just turned into a mudslide. And when we walked through it on Sunday morning, both me and Oku nearly just slipped up because it was just mud everywhere. I also know for a fact that the footfall of attendees in that tent was a lot lower than what we had. Not many of the traders in there had good sales days. But yeah, so the whole marquee situation needs to be looked into. Also, another point is that the traders in the marquee actually paid the same amount as us in the building. I don't think it's fair. So when I booked it, it took me actually quite a long time to get through to the organiser, but I did eventually, and by the time I did, the only tables that were left in the building were ones with backing tables. So I went with that. It wouldn't have been my plan to go for a backing table because I didn't think I needed one for that event, but I did because I didn't want to be out in the marquee. But the fact that they were paying the same amount as us isn't acceptable. As soon as you've got different levels or qualities of tables, you shouldn't be charging the same amount. If you've got different floors that people are going to be on, the ground floor should be paying more than the first floor, for example. It's just known fact that attendees are going to circulate more on the ground floor. The same as if it's raining, people aren't going to want to go out in the marquee. They're going to want to be in the building. They shouldn't have been paying for the same the same amount as what we paid. The second point is cancellations. There were quite a few celebrities that cancelled or didn't turn up for their second day. This isn't the first time it's happened at this convention, so when it was in Basingstoke, I heard that they had a lot of cancellations there. I don't know the exact reason. There are speculations, and I'm not going to go into them because I don't know exactly, but the organisers really need to look into this and work out how to fix it, because they could end up getting a bad reputation, and that's not what we want for an event. Not when it is a nice family friendly, smaller scale convention which still has some big name celebrities that come to it. And Newbury is actually a really nice central location for a lot of people to get to. It's just that it's annoying for attendees because obviously a lot of them are actually travelling quite a way, or they're booking hotels and everything, and although they get a refund for if their celebrity is cancelled, it still doesn't help if you've paid for a hotel. They really need to look into that and see what they can do to help prevent people from cancelling. Number 3 is that there are no floor plans. So the organisers don't provide a floor plan before you set up. You go and set up, and that's where you find out where your table is going to be. I know other events do this as well. LFCC is one. You just turn up and you find out where your table is. So I understand it's not a necessity. However, it is a nice thing to have the organiser provide, just because then you can sort of look at who your table neighbours are going to be. You can have a little peruse online and see like what sort of stock they sell and that sort of thing. As you will have seen in the vlog, I did actually have a financially good weekend. I was also comparing this convention to Newbury Tattoo Convention quite a lot throughout the vlog, purely because the Tattoo Con was held literally a month before at the same venue. It's quite a good comparison between organisers and that sort of thing. I did actually also vlog Newbury Tattoo Con, which I will put in one of these corners. I don't know which one it will be. I will put that in. It obviously did have a different audience, so I'm not comparing the audience. It was just nice to compare how the organisers had laid out, being that it was at the same venue, how they'd used the space and that sort of thing. And also my expenses are fairly similar, although fuel was half the price because I drove Oku with me, so we sort of split fuel costs. And the table cost for this one was slightly higher. It was 265, whereas Newbury Convention was only 200. I actually made about £90 more profit at the Newbury Tattoo Convention. The total money that I actually made wasn't that different. I'm putting that down to the fact that the table cost £65 more, and also it will be down to the products that people were buying. So I remember at Newbury Tattoo Convention, a lot of my suncatchers sold. Like, I got wiped out of suncatchers, and I have quite a good profit margin on them because I make them myself. However, this time it was a lot of like key rings and charms and stuff, which I obviously don't make myself, so my profit margin isn't quite as high. If you would like to see my full breakdown of expenses, you can join me over on my Patreon. You just join as the £2 tier and you get freebies. So for October you're getting a free foam wallpaper of a Halloween dinosaur, but each month it'll be different. But you also have access to behind the scenes and my expense breakdown. My next vlog is going to be me attending Bournemouth Craft and Flea, and that is going to be week 2 in a row of 4 events in a row. I've already done my 3rd week and I'm about to do my 4th weekend and I'm tired. But we'll see how this stretch goes. I am going to leave the vlog here and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.